My name is Susan Gallagher. I'm an early talent success partner in SAP Americas, and I support all of North America for services delivery in early talent.
My name is Bernadette Fodor. I belong to the German SAP, but I basically have a global role. I'm an early talent success partner, and I look after the services early talents in our organization.
Sales Academy is a program for both our license and our service, as well as our line of business salespeople. And it's an 8-month journey where they usually go and do in-person learning in our San Ramon facility. However, due to COVID, we had to change on the dime. And one of the things that we were really concerned with was how we were going to get this group engaged and help them with their communication skills and their presentation skills when they were not in front of clients.
We decided to go for the Colin James method exactly when we were, I think, in probably 1 month in the lockdown already. So Corona just hit all of us. And we all felt that from one hand would be very nice to provide something that basically motivates the team, brings them also together. And from the other hand, we were lucky enough to have an executive sponsor at that time who is a big fan of the Colin James method. We had all together 4 trainings, basically 2 for Europe and 2 for North America. I was part of the European version. The team was very, very energized. They really liked the entire method.
It was the first time I've ever been on a virtual training session where at the end of 4 hours, people were asking for more. We had no Zoom fatigue, which shows the energy level of your facilitators and the engagement.
And the very first feedback I actually received from the team, they said it was probably the most impactful training what I received during the entire academy program.
And it really differentiated what we do in services and how we invest in our people. We tend to get a lot of marketing materials, and then we try to spew that material out to a client. And that isn't relevant to a client. That's not what the client wants to hear. They want us to be able to solve their business issues and provide them outcomes that solve those issues. Force them to get out of their own marketing spin kind of language and look at it from how is this going to impact the client's business.
There is one early talent, particularly in Germany, and he suddenly came out with an idea based on the Colin James method he learned. He recorded quick videos using the method, and he sent the videos to his own customers, and finally was able to generate, I think, more than 15 meetings with the customers, and even generated a deal coming out from these quick videos. It went then already sort of ballistic. Everybody loved the bravery and like the boldness.
One of the things I think we're most proud of from a KPI is that 40% of our students closed a deal while they were in Sales Academy. This is unheard of because we very seldom have anyone close a deal out of 132 participants while they're in Sales Academy because they don't have accounts. So they actually were working on their mentors or were able to position their strengths well enough with their first line sales manager to get accounts assigned to them to even do this task. The other item is the Capstones were the strongest we've ever seen. And we really do attribute it to having the methodology applied in the Capstones. And our leaders who have been through the methodology were really impressed and said that this was something they wanted to see from here on out in our Capstones. The framework was a tool that they will always have. And if they really went back to the framework, and it's allowed us when they run into challenging things with clients to have a common language we can talk about so that they can go back and start structuring their message in a very simple format and not overcomplicating the message to the client. And then networking skills were, I think, the strongest of any group we've sent through the Sales Academy.
We had one early talent starting with not really extremely high confidence the entire program. So I spent also some extra time with this person, and he loved the Colin James method. And I can tell that when we reached the point of the capstone presentation, although he had to even run it for Hervé, so he's the head of the region, he received the highest scores ever on a capstone presentation. So it was really mind-blowing to see the confident person he really became. I personally think he will be one of the most successful people. Now this year he became even a buddy for the next generation. It was really wonderful to see, or it is wonderful to see.
Under COVID, we weren't really sure where our business was going. And, this is a huge investment in Sales Academy already. We were fortunate to have our executive sponsor have had experience, but I think that early talent is such an important part for SAP's future that the company can't afford not to make this investment.
Basically, I would recommend it to everyone, especially those ones who think that they are already super good in communication and who believe that they already mastered, because I think they might find a lot of nitty-gritty things to remember. So it's absolutely for everyone, but especially for those ones who think they already mastered communication.
Part of living your best life is being able to communicate with others. And I think everyone can take something from it. I think it really energizes you. So I would love everyone at SAP to be able to take this training. I think it would be the ability to make the biggest change in our organization. We thoroughly did have fun with your program, but we also learned quite a bit. So yes. It was a wonderful experience. So we thank you guys, and we're looking forward to the next group.
Yes, absolutely.